Welcome to Settle for Three, Three for Three. Joey, Cameron, Evan. You guys each had birthdays recently, so I want to say Evan, happy birthday, and Cameron, I just really hope you're a year wiser.
I'm not.
That's
And I feel like you're holding back a good version of profanity on that.
I
So
Thanks,
am, but
Dad. I mean,
this
Joey.
is this is a professional, work right here, and it's a family show, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
keep it civil.
if
Let's move on.
if nobody's gotten that yet, this is a family show.
Hmm.
Okay, this is
Hmm.
professional. Whatever
Except when we
stupid things Karen makes,
Except when we jump through tables and take shots, then it's not a family show. But those are
that's
sadly, I
different.
didn't make it through the
Yeah,
table.
those are special occasions, guys. Let's just get right into it. This is an NFL draft special of three for three. Question number one: which NFL teams had the best and the worst draft? Cam, we're gonna start with you.
The best, the Carolina Panthers. And Joey,
Oh,
maybe you like this pick. You got two new edge rushers, a new nose tackle to keep Bryce safe, and four weapons on the offensive side for Bryce, who had an amazing end of the season last year. I genuinely love how they built around him. I think it's going to be a really fun year to watch the Panthers. For a what are you doing? Is the Browns. You
oh,
had a couple of solid picks, and you had a couple of just like, what are you thinking? I think the quarterback room situation, we're getting to that in the last word. But why do you take Dylan Gabriel and then penalize Dylan Gabriel by taking Shedeur, and you already have three other guys in the quarterback locker room? That is an absolute mess, if nothing else, of just egos in there. It's awful. But those are my two.
hey, Evan.
all right. Best, I got to go to the Raiders. I talked about this in the last three for three. They took Genty in the first round, which is going to be a really, really great compliment for Brock Bowers, who is crazy in the pass game. But Genty's also going to open up the run game and the pass game. So that's going to be a really, really great situation there. And it's also a team that took a lot of other positions that needed a lot of help. So it was a really well-rounded draft, which I think they took a star immediately for an absolute steal. Now the worst is the Saints because they needed a quarterback to back up Derek Carr, who we don't know if he's going to be playing or not. And they settled on Tyler. What is it? Show, who again he had a great he had a great year at Louisville last year with nearly 3,200 yards and 23 touchdowns. But before that, he had 2 seasons at Oregon and 3 seasons at Texas Tech that were just okay. His best season prior was 2020 at Oregon, where he had 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. They could have used a lot more help.
All right. Well, we know how Cam makes crazy takes on the show. I'm gonna make a crazy take. I think the Browns had the best draft. And put aside the fact that they drafted two QBs, they traded back three spots from two to five. They got a first rounder from Jacksonville next year. Jacksonville's not going to be any good. That should be a top 15 pick. And they still got Mason Graham at five, who's a great player. From a value standpoint, Shedeur Sanders at 144 is getting first round talent at garage sale, rookie scale salary. Also, they got two of the better running backs in college football last year, Quinshawn Judkins and Dylan Sampson. And, I don't know how all this talent is going to fit together, but I think the Browns have proven that better. And then my worst is the Steelers. They had three chances to take Shedeur Sanders and they passed on him. Are they really going to go into the year with Mason Rudolph as their starter? I mean, that's ridiculous. They better hope Aaron Rodgers signs with them
There's
because
no way.
they are a playoff team with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know that they are with Mason Rudolph, and I feel like they could have plugged Fedora in there and been fine. So I'm judging the Steelers as basically off not taking a QB. That's why they're my worst draft. No time for Cam to chime in, so let's just move on. The most head scratching draft decision was Evan.
All right. Now this one I will back up Cameron with. It's taking
Okay.
Dylan Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders.
Are we all going to say the same thing?
No.
Okay, so hold on, because they're number one, and it's the most obvious answer, right? But as a backup, I also have the Bengals, which it was just mind blowing. They drafted multiple linebackers that probably are not going to start. They drafted a guy from Georgia, somebody from somewhere else, and they were really great talents that are not going to play for this team next year. And they have such a deep depth chart. Like they didn't need a whole lot, so that's why I couldn't have them as my utmost head scratching decision. But they're pretty close because they just drafted players just to take up slots.
Damn.
My number one was Dylan Gabriel as well. If you were going to take Shedeur, I don't even care at what pick number. You're literally putting pressure on him on day one by taking a second quarterback in the draft. There is absolutely no logic to that. Joey hit on the second one. How in the draft, where you don't have a legitimate QB1 and Mason Rudolph is your starter, are you not going to take a quarterback for the Steelers? Like, what is Mike Tomlin thinking?
Yeah,
But-
and they have a playoff-ready team. Like, it's just you plug in the right guy. But I guess they're confident they're going to get Rodgers, right?
You would have to think if you have that much talent around him, it doesn't make any sense not to be playing competitively. And to be going for more draft picks doesn't really get you that far. And I'll throw one more in there. This will be the Cam's crazy take.
Okay.
The Jacksonville Jaguars Travis Hunter trade up. I don't think that is the right team for him to be playing for. I don't think that their coach is creative enough to utilize the talents that he has. Travis Hunter is an excellent, talented guy. Never going to take anything away from that. But I have no idea how the Jags are going to utilize him.
Fair point. For me, it was the Giants trading up to get Jackson Dart in the first round. So Jackson Dart may very well be a great player, and this doesn't have a lot to do with him. But, you know, their head coach, Brian Dable, and their GM, Joe Schoen, they're on the verge of getting fired if they have another bad year. So you already have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the roster. You need this team to get 6, 7, 8 wins. Why are you drafting a quarterback that may not be ready right now? You should have been drafting for a position of need if you were going to trade up into the first round. Now, they made a great pick at number 3 with Abdul Carter. That's a great pick. But it's just head scratching that you have a head coach and a GM that are on the hot seat, and they're taking a guy that's not a surefire year one starter. All right, guys, third question. Who wins offensive and defensive rookie of the year? Cameron, why don't we start with you?
I think Saquon kind of opened up the whole can of worms last year with the running back actually being a position of financial value and just net value to a team. I think that Ashton Genty or Cam Scatterbo are probably going to be the offensive rookie of the year. I think it is between those two. Most will probably lean towards Genty. I personally really like Scatterbo and the physicality that he runs with. As far as who I think the defensive player of the year is, I can't say Travis Hunter. I would lean towards, I think, Abdul Carter, just on him being on the edge. But I also think that Jahad Campbell, that went late to the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round, is going to be an insanely solid pickup and will make a huge impact on that defense, especially with all the talent they lost.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Cameron, you and I are going to agree, which is awesome. So for offensive, I've got Genty, and honestly, I don't know how you can't pick him, only because, again, everything around that offense aligns with him having such a breakout year. All of that relies on the Raiders actually getting to the playoffs, because we all know what happened last year when Brock Bowers setting all kinds of records, but because they didn't make it to the late season, he didn't get a shot at it. So I've got Genty coming in, assuming they make it to the playoffs. For defensive, I also have Abdul Carter. Look, he was a monster at Penn State. However, there weren't that many amazing fits drafted, at least early on. And what I'm saying with that is I would pick Jalen Walker from Georgia going to the Falcons, but they also traded up to take James Pierce Jr. And so the two of those, I don't know who's going to get more playing time. I don't think anybody's in a better position to win Defensive Rookie of the Year except for Abdul Carter.
3 for 3 on offense. I just think Genty they're going to give this guy the rock 300 times next year. And
Agreed.
he's probably going to score 12 to 15 touchdowns. What else are you going to do? I don't even know who their quarterback is. I mean, you're going to give this guy the rock and run him, and Vegas will love it. As far as defense, guys, I'm going to say Travis Hunter only because Jacksonville gave up a lot to get him. They traded next year's first. They need to win this year to make that deal worth it. And they're going to put Hunter in as many good situations as possible so that he makes big plays. Whether it happens or not, it's up to him. I think he will be a good NFL player, but I think you're going to see Jacksonville just put him in a lot of optimal positions to be as successful as possible. So, guys, let's move on to the last word. And Evan, I'll let you take it from here.
All right. Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. So I just want to start with some stats here because I hear everybody saying he's not as good as everyone says. They take out the facts for whoever he played against in the league because I'll get to that. So Sanders, across his entire college career, now, yes, he was with Jacksonville State for a couple seasons, then went to Colorado. He had a 70% completion rate. That's amazing. Over 14,000 yards and 134 touchdowns. By comparison, another pretty good quarterback that I know, Patrick Mahomes, went to Texas Tech. Okay? Now, Patrick Mahomes, he's been pretty good in the NFL. I think we can all agree with that. Texas Tech does not have a very strong schedule. I think we can also all agree with that. Patrick Mahomes had a 63.5% completion rate, 11,000 yards, 93 touchdowns, and 29 interceptions. So if one more person tells me that he did not get drafted in the first round because of his talent, this is all we need to point to. The stats do not lie. Now, everybody is saying that he didn't interview well with the coaches. He had a bad personality. He's too cocky. Whatever. This is a professional athlete. Tell me one professional athlete who, to their core, isn't a little bit cocky. Now, you have people like Cam Newton, who was pretty good in the NFL for a little bit. He came out of college as a very high on himself individual. There are so many people that come out of college and are high on themselves, but they have a great college record. They obviously know how to lead their teams, or else they wouldn't have been that successful in college. And they did pretty well in the NFL. So the question for me, honestly, is did the NFL just want to stick to Deion? Did they just have a point to prove here? Or was he really that bad in these interviews to keep him from going from the first round to the fifth round? I mean, there is not one single person that thought he was going to go that far deep. So I would love to hear your opinion.
Is anyone saying it's talent related? Because I feel like the consensus was he's a first round talent, right?
That's all the at least from the fans that I have heard, is that he never should have been that high up because he didn't play against SEC talent or Big Ten talent, or he didn't make it to the playoffs, whatever it was.
Cam, what do you think?
I think you're an idiot.
Wait, me or him?
Evan, I personally think you're an idiot because
Happy birthday.
Shedeur's a good quarterback. That's not why. If you're the most egotistical, I'm not even going to say it, person in the world, and frankly, you don't have the play of your own father that you think you have in your bloodline, you do not have what it takes to be the face of every NFL franchise like you think you do. You are arrogant. You are cocky. You got exactly what was coming. I think, Evan, the reason that I'm calling you an idiot is because
I thought we were disagreeing with me.
Maybe I'm not disagreeing as much as I thought. Other than he is very talented, I never had a question of his talents. His talents were there on 4th and long when he needed a game to win, and he threw the ball to Horn, who's now playing for the Panthers. But I really, really, really was hoping he'd just completely drop out. And I think he could be a starter in the NFL, but he's too cocky for his own good. Put him down four knuckles.
So I think you would hope that this is a wake-up call for him, right? If something did go wrong behind the scenes, but you guys both took the SAT or the ACT or both, right? And it's something okay, don't lie. You both of you studied for it, right? At some point, like you took prep tests.
Yeah, I
Right?
did. I don't want.
Okay.
I'm not proud of it, but I did.
Okay.
I'm naturally a genius.
All right. So shut up. Imagine if you walked in to take that test and you put zero prep into it. Any normal person, unless you are literally a genius or have an abnormally high IQ, you're going to struggle with it, because even if you're smart, you're not going to know. If you do zero prep, you're not going to know the layout of the test. You're not going to know what kind of questions are going to be asked. You're going to be totally blind. Half of taking those tests is knowing how they're set up and how to budget your time so you finish them. So imagine if the reports are true, that, and according to reports when he met with the Giants, that he walked in, they gave him a package to study, and he didn't even know what was going on. Like, he didn't get the email from Brian Dabble, or I don't know. Like, imagine if those reports are true. Imagine if that's not just having a bad interview, that's being disrespectful, right? You're going for a job interview and you're just like, I don't care. Now, I'm not saying this is what he was thinking. I'm just saying these are what the reports are.
At the end of the day, he does not have the transcendent talent of his dad that was able to play this off.
But it has to be that bad. It can't just be you had a bad interview because you were nervous. It has to be you walked in and were like, I don't need the concepts you sent me because I'm the son of Deion Sanders and I was a Heisman finalist. It had to have been that bad for him to fall this low with that talent. The most accurate quarterback in college football the last 2 years. I think he's top 5 all time. It had to be bad.
Yeah.
So for every team to pass on him like that, you can't say without certainty that the reports are true, but they gotta be true, right? All right, guys, thanks for watching 3 for 3 on Settle for 3. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, X, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Subscribe, like, share, comment. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take it easy.